If you're looking to improve your experience as either a buyer or seller on Teachers Pay Teachers, I've got 10 tips for you today. Hello and welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies. My name is Sarah, and today's video is going to provide 10 tips to help you as either a buyer or seller on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll start out first with 5 tips for buyers, which I think can also apply to sellers too, and then following that up with 5 tips about selling on TPT. Now, I have uploaded other TPT related videos on this channel, but I've learned a lot since then, as well as want to go into a little bit more depth, as well as cover more of the buyer experience. First thing to do is to provide feedback. I'm always surprised from the seller perspective of how few teachers actually leave feedback. Did you know that you earn credits for every dollar you spend on Teachers Pay Teachers? I love the improvements that TPT has made on their website with credits, because once you leave feedback, you earn credits based upon how much money you spent on the item you reviewed, and then you can automatically apply those credits at your next transaction on the website. So it's really convenient. It's a nice way to save extra money. And honestly, at this point, I think only about 10 to 25% of people who purchase my products leave reviews. So that means many people are missing out on free money, free resources. In addition to that, submitting your feedback, whether it's positive or more constructive, is very helpful to help other teachers know that they're getting a good product. I'm someone who reads reviews on everything, and if I am looking for a TPT resource, if I see that there's no reviews yet, I know it's a little bit more risky to make that purchase because there's no other teacher who said, yes, I bought this worked for me. So definitely, if you haven't, leave some reviews. Another amazing tip for buyers on TPT is to filter your results. There are so many different categories that you can use to filter the resources you're getting. Filtering by grade level is important. Filtering by subject, perhaps. Filtering by standards. Filtering by price point. So many options to help you filter your results to find exactly what you're looking for. If you haven't already been doing this, this can help you save a lot of time on the website. Another great strategy is to use previews. This can be a helpful tool to see what is in a resource. But again, I'm always surprised that a lot of people don't actually view the previews. You can click on the little preview button next to the product thumbnails or the pictures of the product, and you'll often be able to see a much closer look at what's actually included. And it is something that I'm making sure all of my new resources have previews, so it's easy for you to see exactly what you get. Another great buyer strategy is to use your wish list to help you plan ahead. Now, if you've been using TPT for a while, you probably have a good understanding of when there are Teachers Pay Teachers sales. Of course, individual sellers can throw sales whenever they want, but there tend to be 4 main sales throughout the year. This includes back to school time, sometime in August. This includes around Cyber Monday, which was the most recent sale that happened. There's, I believe, one typically around Valentine's Day or that general area, as well as being one for teacher appreciation. If you've got products that are not super urgent, but you know you'd like to get, you could put those items in your wish list and have them ready the next time a sale rolls around, whether that's an individual store you follow or the site-wide sale. My last tip for buyers is to try ClassFund if you haven't already. This is a new resource set up by TPT, and I think it's genius. It's a really easy way so you can spend less money out of pocket for TPT resources and still be able to have those resources for your classroom. To me, it seems especially perfect when we think about gifting. I'm sure elementary teachers probably get a lot more gifts than secondary teachers, but I definitely have been on the receiving end of many gifts at the holiday season. And while I always appreciate the generosity of students, sometimes you get items that you can't really use. Whether it's gift cards to places you don't go to or don't use, maybe it's a bunch of candy and unhealthy food that you don't want to be eating, or maybe that you can't eat depending on dietary restrictions. Maybe it's random mugs and knick-knack items that, to be honest, you don't actually need any more of because you already have plenty. The generosity is very appreciated, but I kind of think about it as a win-win situation. If you put the ClassFund page together and say to your students, if you were planning on getting anything for me, maybe this could be an option. And then whatever gifts are given not only benefits you and saves you money for other things that you actually would choose to spend your money on. But that goes right back to the students with giving higher quality materials that you need. It's definitely becoming more popular. I believe the recent email I received said that over $1 million have already been raised using ClassFund. So that's a really wonderful opportunity. I'll have more information linked below, as well as any other relevant links to concepts I'm mentioning. Now let's move on to the seller tips. Now I do want to preface this by saying, if you have watched any of my past selling related videos, a lot has changed. Now I feel very fortunate that my TPT store has been doing really well this year. I do think it's because of a lot of the strategies I've put into place, but rather than making $200 to $400 a month like last year, we're making about $800 to $1,500 a month this school year. And there's still a lot more I want to do. I haven't even yet gotten into social media marketing at all. So I'm not yet on Pinterest. I'm not doing social media. So these strategies that I'm talking about definitely work. My first tip is something called the Canva color palette generator. I did not used to think about brand colors and figuring out what I wanted my colors to be. However, I have since realized different color schemes that help me design not only my brand, but also the colors I use in my product covers. I created a basic logo for myself, which happens to be a lot of these colors. It makes sense for social studies. But all of our different product lines in our TPT store do have a corresponding color scheme. And I would struggle to try to put these colors together myself, but if you use the link in the description field to go to the color palette generator, you can see so many combinations and you can pick some that go really well together that you might not have originally thought. And that's how I honestly choose colors for anything that I need colors for. And if you're looking for your covers to look a little better or be a bit more professional, definitely go there. It is a free tool. To connect to that point, if you can only do one thing to all of your products to make them look more professional, it's to have a cover. I think part of the reason that our store is doing as well as it is because we're using covers. And at least at the secondary level, not everyone is using covers. I think it's really interesting. Recently, I uploaded group evaluation forms. Now, it's not a glamorous product. It's pretty basic for when students are working in groups, just to know more of what actually happened in the group, and you can get some feedback from the students about their group members and what was accomplished. And it's a pretty new product, but we've already had good sales coming from that product because all of the other options are either maybe too specific for something else, like maybe they're a group evaluation form for a certain unit that a teacher probably wouldn't be in, or there's no cover, it's just the white thumbnail image. Because of that, my cover stands out above the rest, at least for when you first search those group evaluations. So that's an easy way to help yourself stand out. Not saying going back in and editing the product or doing all this work to it, but if you can only do one thing, at least put a cover on it. My third tip is not to fear fonts. For a long time, I was not using any purchased fonts. I was just using the regular fonts that were available in PowerPoint or even in Google Drive, and it was fine. I thought it looked good. Then I bought one font and I immediately felt like my resources looked a lot better just from having one font that I would use for titles. And since then, I've still kept it pretty basic. I think total right now I have about 20 fonts. My favorite fonts to purchase are from KG Fonts. I like them the best. I think I have purchased about 8 to 10 of hers. They're $5 each. And then I've purchased a couple bundles of fonts, one from Amy Grosbeck and one from Perfect Blend. So I have those collections of fonts as well. And for me, it gives me a lot more creative options. I do design secondary resources, so I don't want anything that's too like little kid whimsical-ish. So mine are pretty basic, but it's definitely made a world of difference on my resources. Another seller tip that many sellers are not yet taking advantage of is the Google Upload tool. You can actually upload files directly from your Google Drive that go directly into the Google Drive of another teacher who purchases it. And this not only makes life a lot easier because you don't have to worry about them making a copy of that resource or not having access or accidentally editing your original resource. It happened to me a couple times and it was a bit confusing and frustrating. Instead, it goes right into their drive, and it also is the way of the future. So many schools are already using digital resources, and it's just a way to make sure you are providing resources that are up to date. Finally, with the Google Drive upload tool, what's nice about it is that you can upload a Google Drive folder, and in that folder you can put anything that person might need: a Google slideshow, a Google Doc, a Google form, an uploaded PDF. So really you've got a lot of options, and it's definitely something I want to continue doing more of. Honestly, I would do a lot more of it. Right now you're not able to bundle Google Drive resources. So that's what's held me back from having everything be a Google Drive resource. But I do think that is something they'll probably have at some point. But if it's a resource you're not planning on bundling with other products using the bundle tool, definitely consider uploading it to Google Drive. And my last TPT tip for sellers is to invest in yourself. I talked about earlier in the video how my sales have increased a dramatic amount, and I don't think they're going to stop there. The reason for this improvement comes from a few courses that I've taken over the last year that have helped a lot. And to be fair, I haven't actually shared any of the tips I learned from those courses in this video just to protect the terms of use. I'm not giving away the secrets. I have taken 2 incredible courses and a course that I have created, just launched as well, that I want to tell you about. First of all, these offerings are all different and appeal to different people depending on what your goals are. But I wanted to talk about them, and I will talk about them in chronological order, not saying one is better than the other. Last December, I enrolled in a course hosted by Casey Morris called Transform Your Resources. And that really opened my eyes to a lot of design-related elements of Teachers Pay Teachers products, as well as other business components of it and the importance of a few other elements of business. That course then expanded to the CEO Teacher, and now it's being called the CEO Teacher Academy. That being said, I know she did recently close registration, and I don't think it's going to be open again until next year. But that course was amazing, especially from just a big picture business course to take you beyond just selling TPT products, but also growing other elements of your business. And I've applied a lot of that to my TPT resources, but honestly, where I've applied it the most has been through the growth of my other business, Abundantly Minimal. I created a couple online courses this year. I've set up good email sequences. It's really like an amazing business course as well. So that won't be offered, I don't think, until later in 2020, but that was what I took first. Then I did go to the Teachers Pay Teachers conference this past summer in Austin, Texas. I had a great time, learned a ton from that as well. One of the keynote speakers also had a session, Shelly Reese, and I attended her session and was very impressed with what she was talking about, and I decided to sign up for her TPT course called the Focused Teacherpreneur. And it was also incredible, and it really lit a fire under me to get going on my TPT products and create more products there. That course is much more focused on Teachers Pay Teachers, and so it has really helped me with my growth over the past several months. And I am very excited because she actually gave me the opportunity to host a mini course on her site. So you can actually take the YouTube Marketing 101 course officially now, and I will include links for that below. But that program is designed to help teacherpreneurs and TPT sellers market their resources on YouTube to help grow their business. Because I think honestly, YouTube is very undersaturated for TPT sellers. A lot of the other sites, Instagram, Facebook, they're more saturated and it's tougher to get your voice heard. YouTube is not like that. There's very few teachers who are using YouTube effectively. I want to help people grow their audiences on YouTube, build trust with their customers, and of course, increase their TPT sales. That being said, I hope this video helps. Let me know if you've got questions below. I included links in the description field to things I mentioned, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.